Welcome back to another edition of All or None According to Jack with your host, Jack Toledano. So, we literally just got the news about a day or so ago about losing the Prince of Darkness, the master of heavy metal himself, Ozzy Osbourne, very sadly. Wore my priest shirt to try and help commemorate it, as he was great friends with Judas Priest, particularly Rob Halford. Um, and People are still in mourning. There's an outpouring of support on that I read on Facebook. I mean, Bruce Dickinson talked about him, Ian Gillan, members of Deep Purple, Tony Iommi, uh, Priest, to which I read to you the other day. Uh, yeah, that fallout is still continuing. It's going to be hard to get over uh, that loss for quite a while. Uh, you just don't replace an Ozzy Osbourne. Um, in any event, so this has been a bad week for losing our famous people. So earlier in the week, we lost Connie Francis. A little known fact, my father, when he was stationed in the Coast Guard, met her. She was on tour. I guess she was doing one of those USO appearances, and she appeared. And my father, in his Coastie uniform with about 4 or 5 of his contemporaries, got a picture with Connie Francis, which was very cool. There was Malcolm Jamal Warner, who passed away, caught in a rip current in Costa Rica. That was very sad. I loved The Cosby Show, and Malcolm Jamal Warner played a great part in it. He was the one brother, Theo, but I thought he was very funny. And his interplay with Bill Cosby was just second to none. Uh, Very, very sad losing him. Um, there's Chuck Mangione. Um, he had that big hit song, jazz rock pop type fusion. The song feels so good. Da 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 da. Yeah, I won't make you switch off with any more bars of that. But he played it beautifully with that flugelhorn of his. But we lost him too, just today, I believe. Uh, my Death Watch cohort, Davy Cretin, it's either him or my son Jason who lets me know about losing all these wonderful people. Jason actually just texted me today to tell me about the the loss of, and this one really hurts. Um, the immortal Hulk Hogan. This is what we're going to talk about today. Uh, yes, we lost Hulk Hogan. This one really hurts. This one, I'm actually, I can talk about this a little bit more than I was able to talk about Ozzy because, I mean, well, I was a semi fan of Ozzy, and I'm not the greatest fan of Hulk Hogan either, but I am very familiar with his exploits in the WWF, or rather the WWF when he first started, uh, to about the early '90s when he finally left WWE. It was then called, to go over to eight no not AEW, WCW. So Hulk Hogan. My first memories of Hulk Hogan, he was a heel. He was managed by the Fashion Plate of Wrestling, Classy Fred Blassie. Uh, like I said, he was a heel. He was this big, blonde Californian, 320 pounds from Venice Beach, California. He was actually soft spoken. He's not like the Hulk Hogan that returned in the early '80s, but we'll get to that Hulk Hogan. But this Hulk Hogan, he was rather soft spoken, but he was a bad guy. Uh, they his his first stay in WWF culminated in his matchup at Shea Stadium against the eighth wonder of the world, Andre the Giant. A lot of people don't remember. Andre won that match. He picked up, Hulk Hogan had picked him up in a body slam, but then his knee gave out and he buckled, and Andre fell on top of him. One, two, three. Andre, being the good guy, sent them all home happy from my beloved Shea Stadium that night. Um, that was like a double main event. The other main event was Bruno Sammartino with Larry Zbyszko having turned on him. That feud culminating in a steel cage match. Ultimately, Bruno did win that match, but we're going to talk more about Bruno in a little while. So Hulk Hogan, um, if you know Vince McMahon, he likes to be in control of his talent, so to speak. He wasn't happy with Hulk going and doing the Rocky 3 movie, so I believe he was let go from WWE. Uh, he's like, you know what? Screw you guys. Uh, he went to the territory in Minnesota. Not WCW. Uh, AWA. That's what it was. Nick Bockwinkel's AWA territory. He went there, made a name for himself, became a very big name there. Uh, then what happened? Vince Jr. came calling around 1981, 82 it was. Um, Bob Backlund had basically run his course as champion of WWE. I mean, he was very well regarded as a very technical wrestler. He just didn't have the personality. And Vince Jr., who had the foresight, I'm not going to be able to go global with this guy as my champion. I need somebody that's more charismatic, that's more larger than life. So what did he do? He came calling, he wooed Hulk Hogan back. And Nick Bockwinkel did, was it Nick Bockwinkel? No, I'm sorry. It was Greg Gagne who ran the AWA territory. And this was probably the thing that uh, sunk his federation like a rock into a lake. Uh, After he let Hulk Hogan leave. He didn't spend the money to keep Hulk Hogan. Vince outbid him, took him away, and basically what he did was he had well, his initial plan. Years later, I come to find out his initial plan was to have Bob Backlund, who was this really good guy, turn heel and lose to Hulk Hogan. But Bob, you know what? Good for Bob Backlund for standing his ground, saying, no, I'm not doing it. You have me lose to a heel and then have the heel lose to Hulk Hogan. So basically, they used the Iron Sheik as their transitional champion. So Bob lost to Iron Sheik. Arnold Skaaland threw the towel in. Bob lost honorably. Uh, so then 2 months later, Hulk Hogan beat the Iron Sheik. I still remember on those TV tapings, uh, right around the time Bob lost, he was now no longer a champion. He was fighting, I believe it was one of the Samoans. Then he got ganged up on by multiple Samoans. By then there were three Samoans, Alpha Sika and Samu. I believe this is, correct me if I'm wrong, people, but so now he's outside interference. He said, that's it. I've had enough of it. So he left, went back behind the curtain into the gorilla position. Next thing you know, he brings out Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan had just came back to the WWE, and you know what? Even my hair stood up on the back of my neck. I'm like, wow. And Vince McMahon played it perfectly. The way he shills for his company, he played it perfectly. Um, oh, Hulk Hogan's back! Oh my God! And Hulk Hogan goes in. Hulk Hogan's cleaning house. And then right after he cleaned house and beat the crap out of the Samoans and probably threw a punch at Captain Lou Albano or Classy Freddie Blassie, one of the two, or even both of them. Vince is interviewing Hulk, and he's like, and I remember Hulk Hogan saying, Hulkamania's already running wild. And I gotta tell you, I was a real mark then. I was excited as all hell. I don't think I was ever that excited in my days of WWE. And you know what? Bruno was a great champion, but you know what? Going back to the stories, Bruno wanted to be done. He no longer wanted to be champion come 1977. He told Vince Sr., take that title off of me. Just give it to somebody else. I need some I need some time to my family. I gotta stop traveling for a while. So they took the title off of him. They gave it to superstar Billy Graham. He was a transitional champion for 8 months. Um, uh, so years later, I would come to find out that superstar Billy Graham had sour grapes because it was said that basically Hulk Hogan stole his gimmick. But you know what? He had problems. Problems with drugs, problems with steroids, problems staying healthy. Uh, Whereas, you know what? Hulk Hogan and Bruno had some negative things to say about how he he brought in all the fans. He had the bigger gates than Hulk Hogan did, and that big gate that they had at Shea Stadium with um, Andre and Hulk Hogan wouldn't have sold out if it wasn't for Bruno and Zabisco's match also on that card. Which, you know what, I tend to agree with him at that time. But Hulk Hogan, uh, you know what? For that first 3, 4 years, 5 years, Vince played it to the hilt. He was the perfect poster child for WWE. I mean, he was the guy. I mean, he had a more favorable contract because he didn't. I don't think he had to travel as much as Bruno did. I don't think he had to make as many appearances at house shows as Bruno did. But you know, he he did a great job. He was more believable. Uh, Bob Backlund as champion was getting his ass kicked by all of these incoming heels. Uh, Whereas at 320, 6'7" or whatever, he was more believable as this big champion that can carry the federation and it's not gonna take any shit from anybody. Whereas Bob did a lot of selling for his his heel contenders. So so he was champion for a few years, uh, culminating in WrestleMania 3, probably his finest hour. Now, a little known secret. Uh, I was attend. This was 1986 or 1987, one of those years. Um, I was already living with my wife, Susan, uh, off campus at an apartment in New Paltz. Uh, we decided we wanted to have a WrestleMania 3 pay-per-view party at our swank one-bedroom flat. Basically one bedroom, a living room, kitchen, bathroom. Uh, there was no place to hide from each other when one of us was pissed off at the other. Oh, what a nightmare. At least here that we have rooms where we can hide from each other. But so the story goes. But I remember as plain as day, Uh, we didn't have a cable box. We had basic cable. And back in those days, you didn't need a smart TV. You just needed, the matching transformer or that little screw in the back of the TV to plug the cable in. But for this, we needed to go get a box. So we had to drive from New Paltz to the nearby town of Wallkill to get a box. And because I was a New Paltz student and they didn't trust New Paltz students, I had to give them a $300 deposit on the damn box. Unbelievable. So so I get the box. We get back, we get the pay-per-view, and you know what? It was possibly the finest moment up until that time of pay-per-views or big events, and I saw a few. I mean, I saw the famous Inoki versus Ali battle. I saw Bruno versus Stan Hansen, Andre versus Chuck Wepner, that famous match at Madison Square Garden. I missed the Andre Hogan match, first Andre Hogan match, but me and all of my friends who came over to watch, half of them stiffed me. They're like, "Oh, I can't afford to pay, help you pay for the box. I'm just here to hang out. I'm not here really here to wrestle. I'm not here to watch wrestling. I'm just here to hang out." What are you gonna do? But little known fact, my buddy Pete Pardo came and his ex girlfriend came to watch at that time. It turned out to be a great event. There were some really great matches. Of course, there was Macho Man against Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Uh, that match stole the show that night, but of course, the main event was Hogan Andre the two, and basically they what they did was they set a record for indoor attendance. I think it was what 80,000. Um, wasn't a great match. I mean, unfortunately, Andre couldn't really move too much. They had to keep the match under 10 minutes because Andre, come to find out, poor guy was in a lot of pain. He had a back brace that you could see underneath his tights to to kind of keep his back intact, and he couldn't take too many bumps, so he did most of the offense until the end when he allowed Hogan to slam him, Hogan to drop the leg and go for the pin. 1, 2, 3, um, and that's that. There was so my memories of seeing Hogan live. Uh, I recall seeing him at the Coliseum, Nassau Coliseum, during house shows twice. There was the time I saw him fight uh, Randy Orton's father, Cowboy Bob Orton. That was a good match. Of course, Hogan beat him fair and square. Uh, then there was the other time where Hogan wasn't wrestling, but he actually appeared as a guest on the Brother Love show. Uh, if any of you know Brother Love, look him up. I mean, granted, it probably wasn't as good as Piper's Pit, but it was a good segment nonetheless. Uh, basically, and he was basically a heel commentator, uh, poking fun at all the good guy wrestlers. So at that time, Hogan was in a feud with what the hell's his name? Big Boss Man. Big Boss Man had attacked him on television with a nightstick, and you know, led to a feud, led to some title defenses, and et cetera, et cetera. It was a great segment, but I think those were the only two times that I've seen Hogan live. Of course, after he gave up his title to the Ultimate Warrior, that was another great match, by the way. That was one of the few times I recall him losing fair and square to somebody or putting somebody over, as it were. A lot of people would complain years later that he didn't put people over. One of them was Bret the Hitman Hart, who to me was a much better wrestler. Of course, nobody had the charisma that Hogan had. There was the great feud that he had with Macho Man Randy Savage. You know what? Rest is, as they say, history. Which brings me to more recent times. There was the time hello there. My wife is home.
What are you doing?
I am discussing Hulk Hogan. Say hi to the audience.
Hello, audience.
That's my wife, Susie dear. She's behind me. So anyway, so I'm wrapping this up. There was recent history where he spoke on behalf of the Republican Party in endorsing Donald Trump, our current president. Uh, then there was the time he was endorsing his real American beer, and he got booed out of the building almost in Los Angeles. Um, uh, Probably mostly because of the fact that he endorsed Donald Trump, and Los Angeles is a mainstay of the Democratic Party. Uh, what are you going to do? I'm not going to take sides. I'm just reporting the truth as I see it. It was a damn shame. I felt bad for him that he got booed the way he did. He really meant a lot to WWE. I don't think that it would have taken off the way it did and went global. Uh, Granted, had its pluses and its minuses. I mean, I missed the territory system where you had incoming heels coming every couple of months to challenge the champion. That all changed once Vince took it nationwide, and then he took it globally. Now you have very little competition. You have TNA, you have AEW, you have New Japan Pro Wrestling. Those are all competitors of WWE, but there was never uh, the dynamic of WWE being on equal footing with AWA and NWA like they were back then, and WCW. Uh, that all changed, but you know what? Things change. I mean, music genres change. They don't stay the same forever. Things evolve. That's just life. Just like us, we evolve. Uh, Scary that I'm only 10 years younger than Hulk Hogan. I was just talking to George, and he's like, yeah, but you didn't do steroids like he did. Uh, who knows? Here's a guy who was really fit, but lost his life at 71. Meanwhile, my parents, who are in their 80s, they're still alive and kicking. God bless them. I thank my lucky stars every day that they're still with us. I thank my lucky stars every day that my dog Miley, who's now 13, she's still with us and still in relatively good health, although she's just getting over an eye problem. She's taking legal steroids to help resolve that eye problem. But that's that. This is Jack Toledano, speaking for all or nada, according to Jack. Um, Terry Bollea, Hulk Hogan, rest easy. You're in a better place now. Thank you for the years that you gave us. Uh, Wrestling was a lot of fun back in those years. Uh, it was basically when I was coming of age. I was becoming an adult, and I was able to go to more wrestling events. I didn't really need my parents' permission. I could go to these events with impunity and come to see you wrestle. Uh, I could buy these pay-per-views and not need their permission, and basically just enjoy my life more. Go to more concerts, etc. This is Jack Toledano, speaking for all or not, according to Jack. If you like what I do, please subscribe. Please tell your friends about me. Please pray for all of those that we've lost this week. Uh, Chuck Mangione, Connie Francis, Hulk Hogan, Malcolm Jamal Warner, and of course, the Prince of Darkness, Ozzy Osbourne. Good night, all.